What is up, everybody? Welcome to Cafecito Power Break. This is United Latinas, and my name is Sandra Noemi Torres. As you can see, and we have Sammy Hyman Marrero today. This is going to be a good chat.
Yes. Buenas
Post-election.
tardes. Good afternoon, Sandra.
Yeah. Well, before we get started on our chat, because I know we're passionate about the post-election conversation, we're going to get into that. Tell us a little bit about you and about Urban Dirt.
Well, thank you. Well, yeah, we're a communications firm and we see ourselves as problem solvers. And our focus is to help transform businesses to advance humanity through their communication practices, right? And I just feel that what binds us as human beings is trust, and trust is promoted or nurtured through communication, right? We just need to communicate better with each other and understand what makes us tick, so that way we can bridge gaps and really collaborate more effectively together.
Yep.
And that's what's lacking, right? In business, in the community, nonprofit, in government, and in politics too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so here we are. And I just think that, well, first, I want to thank you for inviting me to have this conversation with you, because I know we've talked off record a lot already about this, but I'm just amused, right, by this last election cycle and a lot of the comments that are being made specifically about the Latino voting bloc, and I feel, well, at least it's spoken about more, right? We're not that invisible now, right?
Yep.
Than we were perhaps in other election cycles. And so I guess, like, poco a poco, we're getting there, right? But
Yeah.
it still irks me, that proper attention to the Latino vote is not being made. And so anyway, hence this conversation.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Which kind of like that, it was my thoughts in the beginning was, we don't understand this enough. Not only, the idea of how do candidates reach the Latinos with a meaningful message and a meaningful, like, storytelling and conversation, but also are the community's awareness of the ballot and who's on the ballot itself.
Yes, absolutely. The approach is twofold, right? I just feel that, well, how candidates are reaching, well, let's just say that they're not, right? Let's just start. The baseline is, okay, that proper investments to do outreach efforts into the Hispanic community are lackluster, right? Like, the investments are completely
Yeah,
lackluster, and I'm being kind
yeah,
with that,
yeah,
with the use of that term, right?
yeah,
Then layer in that there's complete ignorance, right, of the needs or interests of our community by Hispanic subsegment, right?
yeah,
Because the Cuban vote, right, is driven by different issues or interests than the Puerto Rican vote, than the Mexican vote, than the Venezuelan vote, right? And so
yeah,
then so there are some common threads and some universal, right, relevancy points, if we could call it that, that can be embedded in the messaging. But you really need to invest in catering and speaking to and addressing the particular needs and interests of each subsegment to be effective. And so if people are not willing to make those investments and have meaningful narratives, right, and really have interesting and compelling and culturally relevant campaigns, then you're going to fall flat, right? You're going to fall flat, but they're not even trying. So that's my pet peeve, right? And I mean,
yeah,
we can go on and on and on, right, about the different problems, but again, we're solution driven, right? And
yep,
so what are some of the solutions that we've seen on the ground? And is that local leaders, I mean, people that have fire, zest, that have integrity, have been able to convene other leaders and just work together and share resources, because there
yep,
aren't any. So un poquito de aquí, un poquito de allá, to really amplify, right? The messaging and the outreach into the community. And it's worked in some cases, right, at the very granular, a
yeah,
local level. And we were celebrating last night, right? Our little victory which is a big victory though too,
Yes,
in many
yes. Tell
ways
us about it.
here in
Yeah,
Central Florida.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. Tell us about it. Tell us.
Well, I
I
mean,
think it was
Johanna
beautiful.
Lopez, I mean, I love Johanna. Johanna's story is a compelling one. She arrived from Puerto Rico a little over 2 decades ago with a master's degree in education in hand into Central Florida. Okay,
Yeah.
but she didn't command English. So she was washing cars right at the airport because she had to feed her kids, single mom, right, of
Hmm. Hmm.
4. Pero poco a poco, she learned English and she was able to get into the school system. Okay. And she wound up being a school teacher, Spanish teacher for many years, and eventually ran for public office for Orange County Public School Board and won by a landslide of 40,000 votes in 2018. Her students ran her campaign. Kids, her high school kids, right? That
That's
couldn't
awesome.
even vote, ran her
Yeah.
campaign. This woman won with her accent and all. Okay. And she's been a fierce advocate of everyone in the community: Black, white, Latino, Indigenous, Asian American. It doesn't matter, right? She's a voice for the community, right? And
Yep.
for the underestimated population. So, anyway, fast forward 2022, she's leaving the Orange County Public School Board, right? And running for state legislature here in Florida. Yay, right? And then
Awesome.
as the first Afro Latina and Latina to be on the Orange County Public School Board in its 150-year-old history, right? And having a successful run there and have gained the respect, right? And a reputation as someone that is compassionate, but also competent, right? Now she's running for state, pero she's like, wait. So now I'm going to leave that seat, right? And 1/3 of the population here, 1 in every 3 people, okay, is Latino in this county.
Hmm.
Imagine that. And when
Yep.
you look at students from 18 down in the public school system, 47% are Latino. So she can't leave her seat vacant without our representation. She was the only one and the first one. So she took it upon herself with a group of local leaders to identify someone, and it was Maria Salamanca, otra Latina, Colombiana, and the first openly LGBTQ plus person also to run for this seat. And they both won yesterday. So now Johanna won for District 43 as House Representative in the Florida legislature. Yay, right?
Awesome. Hmm.
And Maria Salamanca won,
She
right?
replaced her
From the
seat with
District
another
2
Latina.
that Johanna just left. And so that's how we do. We need to
Hmm.
collaborate, right? We need to elevate each other. We need to share resources because Maria was new to all of this, right? So Johanna was canvassing with her, knocking on doors with her, right? And
Yep.
sharing, right? Her resources, right? And her energy and her team and all of this, right? To ensure that we maintain representation on the Orange County Public School Board, which is one of the largest in the one of the top 10 across the
Yeah.
country. So anyway, that's in short what we were celebrating yesterday, but it takes local leaders with no resources or with little resources, right? To do fundraising, canvassing, knock on doors, do all of this stuff and do
Yep.
all of this heavy lifting.
Yeah.
And then the beauty of it was that her students from high school are now old enough to vote. So for the first time, they were able to vote with their beloved teacher. Isn't I mean, you could this is a
Amazing.
you know what? This is a movie. Write a script and we're gonna I gotta talk to Johanna. This is a movie, right?
Hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
So anyway, so that's it. I'm happy because there's hope, right? You see that
Hmm.
there's hope.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. No, this is so exciting, but it's not always like that in other counties. So like what do you think was the play, or how can like other Latinos that are running in other, like what are your thoughts on that? I mean, I know but what are your thoughts on that generally, having witnessed and been alongside her campaign, that other Latinos in other states that may not have, and I don't know what it is that needs to be had,
Well, the thing is, listen, where I'm a marketer, right? I know you're a marketer too, right?
Yep.
And
Hmm.
marketing is so important because it's about proper storytelling, right? And
Yep.
people need to be aware of your background, what really moves you, of your values,
Yep.
and understand how voting for you, right, is for their interests and how it affects also their daily lives, because sometimes we're so consumed with listening to the national narrative, but it's so important at the local level to get involved. So
Yeah.
civic engagement is important. I just think that anybody who's trying to run for office or thinking about it in the future, if you're a Latino or Latina or anybody really, right, you need to really get involved and ingrained with the grassroots community, right? It's
For
fantastic
sure.
to be part of chambers and all of these other organizations that are more well established, but to really understand what people are going through, you need to live the experience, right? With
Yeah.
people that are in the community, that are the engine, right, of the local airports, of the
Hmm.
local commerce, right, of the local restaurant industry, those local business owners, right, that
Yep.
maybe don't have time to be involved, at this other more elitist, I'll say, level,
Yep.
right? And so then to really get
Sure.
a notion of what people are thinking about, because I just feel that there is disjointed. The whole thing is disjointed. I was talking to a friend and colleague here when we were celebrating Johanna last night, Samuel, which ran her campaign, former student who eventually went to Berkeley and graduated and all of that. He's wonderful. I told him we need to do focus groups. We need to go back to the basics, right?
Yeah.
And really, really assess the sentiment of people. And I know that Pew and all of these big companies, yeah, but how about just going down and talking to people way in advance of
Yeah.
developing a campaign,
Yep.
and also educating. The campaigns have to be multi-level, multi-tiered. We need to educate people on being informed voters. Know
Yes.
your candidates. I got a message from a friend, yesterday, that texts me while she's voting, right? Her ballot. And she's like, who do I vote for? And I'm like,
Yep.
oh my God. I'm like, thank God I saw the text, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
To, and so she had already started, and thankfully, right, she voted, along the lines of what I feel, are candidates that have, our interests in mind, and that have integrity. But in any
Yep.
event, still, she's asking me the day of.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
we need to get into a habit, right, of becoming intimate with these candidates in the sense of knowing who they are, what makes them tick,
Yep.
understand their backgrounds, right? And,
Yep.
and show up and ask questions. There's plenty of opportunities nowadays to get in touch with people, and it behooves them to answer questions from their future constituents too. And so that homework has to be done way ahead of time. And in the Latino community, I think we're procrastinators in that sense. So how they say Latin time, that we leave
Yeah.
everything for last minute. Well,
Yeah.
that's something that we kind of have to start breaking, right? We need to, because it really does matter.
Yeah.
These last minute, like, shooting from the hip voting, it's not gonna get us to where we need to be in terms of benefiting, right, from having proper representation in government.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the comment from Hadassah. Communication with intention is what we certainly want to do. But yeah, like nobody knows who's on the ballot. You get this long piece of ballot in the mail, and then you have a bunch of people that you have to go through one by one, and then you have to find pages for them on the internet, which is you got to do homework. I mean, this is a several hours worth of work to really make an informed decision. And it's funny that you say that, because in my business coaching calls, I'm always like, we're creating informed buyers, So when you say that,
Yeah.
I'm like, I preach that all the time on the business side, but that's what we need to be. We need to be informed. So, having like you said, months ahead of time, where you're looking at who's on the ballot, even though people come in and off and drop. But especially, wait to the last minute concept is typically, the Latino concept. Maybe we can stir up something when there's a community of I know every it has to be localized, right? These things have to be localized, and somebody has to take charge within their city that says, you know what, I'm going to help make this, civic 101. Let's go through who are the candidates in these elections, because it is a lot of work and it can be overwhelming. And you
Yeah,
know
definitely. But and that's the thing, right? That it requires funding. Like I could do
mhm.
it, right? But who's gonna, that's
Takes
what we
time.
do for a living, right? That's why
Yep.
that we analyze, we research, we develop campaigns, we do marketing and communications, and that's fine and dandy. Pero ven acá, if I know that they're spending millions of dollars, right, on
Hmm.
general market ad campaigns, right? How about taking 20%? If Latinos are 20% of the US population, right?
Hmm.
Then hello, we should be investing 20% of political dollars into better engaging with Latino voters. And that's it. And then when we look at the numbers, they're like amazing, right? From 2018 to 2022, of all eligible new voters, okay, new voters, all of them, 62% were Hispanic. Could you imagine? But that aligns also with the trends with the new workforce, right? That 78% of net new workers are going to be in the next 10 years Hispanic. So this is where we're going. So we
Yeah.
need to figure out a way to better connect with each other, communicate with each other, collaborate with each other, organize with each other, and mobilize, right?
Yep.
Our community. Because imagine that if we're that many, if such a large voting block, we could easily become the decisive, right,
Yeah.
vote very soon.
Yeah.
Okay, the tipping point is 2045. That's when the new global majority here in the US, right, meaning most of the people here in the US are going to be non-white,
Yeah.
right? And so it's happening right before our eyes. But if we don't seize these opportunities and don't understand the implications,
Yeah.
right, of not voting or not understanding who we're voting for,
Yeah.
right, and not being engaged consistently, right, then we're doing a disservice to ourselves and to our kids. And I know we all love our kids and our sobrinos and our grandchildren and all of that. So it's something that we really not only have to think about, but act upon. And the sooner the better.
I don't even know what else to say to that. That was perfection. I mean, that's exactly what it is. You summed it up beautifully.
I'm just annoyed. You could tell, right?
But this is the thing. Passionate people create change. And are encourage and inspire others to change, right? Because we have to take a look at ourselves and see, okay, how do I contribute to this big picture? And just hearing. And I think, with channels like this, where you can see people that are like you, and really understand a lot of the, just cultural, differences that we
Oh
have.
my God, yeah. Yeah,
But
totally. And how fun. Like I have so many, and I'm sure we've talked about this too, right? About so many ideas for campaigns, right?
oh
That
yeah.
that can really cut through the nonsense and can really
Yeah.
land, right? But
Yeah. We
our
need
the
money.
expertise is here.
Yeah.
The community's here. We have graphic designers, marketers, copywriters, script writers, voiceover talent. I mean,
Yep.
you name it,
Yeah.
right? The expertise is here, but where's the funding? Because we don't work for free. Entiende?
Exactly.
And so then, and I got a call, I want to say 6, 7 years ago, for a campaign. And I'm not gonna say who, right? And so then we created a package because they're like, oh, we need to tap into the Latino community. And it wasn't a big, it was like a short stint, right? And
Hmm.
part of the package included media buys, right? Like the media dollars. It came out to it wasn't more than like 60 grand. I mean, which for the millions that are spent are drop in the bucket, but it was a very local Central Florida initiative. Could you believe this guy has the audacity of finally getting back to me and tell me that, oh, that it was out of their scope of their budget? And I said, so what's your budget? We can work with you, right? We really want to help you engage, right, with the Latino community. He tells me 2 grand. They had $2,000. Yes, I know. And you know me already enough to know that I was like looking at the phone. This is with pre-Zoom. And I said, he's got some nerve. And I said, I'm so sorry, but we don't work for free. Y ya,
Yeah.
y ahí se
Sí.
quedó.
Sí.
Y ahí se quedó. So I encourage anybody out there, right, seeing and that has any kind of influence, we're here across
Yeah.
the country in each state. There's talent and people that can really help, right? Speak in a meaningful way to Latino eligible voters.
Yeah. Amen. Amen. I love that. Sammy, we can go on for like another 40 minutes here, like talking about this stuff. But I mean, like everything you mentioned was so what I wanted to touch on specifically, which is, just our lack of understanding and the money needing to come into the communities to really help us. Um, yeah, we got a couple comments here. Yes, yay. Qué historia tan linda e inspiradora okay, from Itzela. Awesome. Yeah. So I want to thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you for allowing me to join you, and for humoring me while I have my little rant.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, no, but I think like I think, and I wanted to touch on that as well, is it's the passion, right? But también you have the skill sets, and Urban there has the skill sets to help individuals really create campaigns that touch people's hearts and make sense, and are not, are more like intentional and meaningful. And I think that I just having seen the videos that you guys have put together as an organization, and if
well,
you
I just
haven't
feel
checked
that
out.
where our
Mhm.
intelligence is also underestimated, and it's offensive,
Mm,
right? It's borderline it's offensive, right? To think that we don't have the capacity to 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 not only dive in head first into these processes and into these discussions, right? And you see it on TV too. There aren't many Latinos also,
yeah,
on these panels and stuff talking about, right? They talk about us, but we're not really present, right? To
yeah.
to talk in a meaningful way. And so then it's being underestimated too, right? But watch out, because there's a lot of us, right? And this is a
Hmm.
roaring beast that once we
Yeah,
wake up, it's game
yeah,
over.
yeah, yeah. Or game on, right? Like,
Or game on. Yes, yes, yes. Well, game over for the nonsense, right?
for the
And
nonsense.
game on for the change, for the real change.
Yeah, for progress and change in that aspect.
Yeah,
Um,
totally. Because we have
yeah,
really great values, right? That I feel that have been lost in this country,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Do you know the betterment of the community before the
That's what we're
self,
always looking out.
right?
Yep, yep,
You know, honesty, integrity, hard work, right?
yep,
God forbid my mom catches me, doing fluff, and saying something that's not true. The chancleta's out in 2 seconds flat. You know what
yep.
I'm saying?
Funny.
It's like that's how
It's
we
funny.
grew up. It's like you represent everyone, before you, and that comes after you. It's like you need to, honor is a big thing, and pride. And I think that in our communities comes very linked to respeto. And like Johanna said yesterday during her remarks, dice, aquí es que no nos respetan y eso se va a acabar pronto. Okay,
Hmm.
eso se va a acabar muy pronto. That's going. We need to, stand strong, unite, and that's why United Latinas, perfect, right? Organization to do that.
Yep,
Unite and step into these spaces, right, with confidence and with a message of respect. Respect begets respect, And so it's time. I think it's time that we are respected as voters in this country,
Yeah.
and quite frankly, as the matriarchs that are birthing the next generation of Latinos, giving the census numbers. And I'm not making that up, right?
Yeah.
The census
Yeah.
said it, not me. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we certainly create a more empathetic, the whole collective conversation of that. We are looking out. We do look out for the collective. It doesn't matter what race you are. We have that. And I was thinking about that the other day. Like, what makes us so like bendito? Like, I want to, like that. I don't know. That extra. I guess it's empathy, right?
Because we've been colonized, right?
Yeah, yeah. So we
Because we
understand what
know
it's
what it
like.
is to be, we know what it is to be oppressed, so we need to watch out for each
Yep.
other, right? The
Yep.
thing is that there's still silos within the Latino community and within communities of color and within society as a whole, but we need to break down those silos, right? And
Yeah.
so I encourage us, right, to exercise and model behavior of collaboration, right, of empathy, of elevating others,
Yep.
of having open discussions that are that seek to compromise, to better understanding, and to finding solutions that benefit everyone, right? Not just one group over the other. And so and I think that in our communities also we have representation of all races, right? We
Yep.
have, Asian Latinos, Black Latinos, we
Yep.
have more European looking Latinos, because
Yep.
it's not all white, right?
Yep.
And so I think that that's what makes us also the segment, right? The voting block that in time, right, people will see, wow, we can really drive
Good
home,
change.
right? The change, like positive change that will advance humanity and save our planet too, right?
Amen. Amen.
Yes, and save our planet, because without Mother Nature, aquí no hay nada. So yeah.
All right. Awesome. All right. Just Hadassah's statement. That is our culture. We're all about the collective. We do watch out for each other, and we must harness that power towards our own empowerment and benefit for all.
Amen, Hadassah. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Yep.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. This has been a great conversation. This is one I think that we should kind of marinate on it, and maybe we can have every so often for the next election. Maybe we do some type of special segment where we just have these conversations to remind people and to get more people involved in it. It's a win-win.
Absolutely. Or create a playbook on how to prepare.
Yes. Yes.
We got to come up with something, girl.
Yes. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay.
Thank you guys for tuning in to Cafecito Power Break with United Latinas. We will see you next week. Take care, guys. Mwah.